Hi folks, I hope you're well. Joined by Ivan from Exiles Embarking.
Hello.
And behind the camera is Rupert, our instructor from South Essex. So in this quick video we're going to look at the fifth play of Gioco Largo, okay? From the Sword and Two Hands, Gioco Largo being our wide and loose plays, so the first section of the Sword and Two Hands. We're going to look at the fifth play, which is the sword grab from the bind, okay? What we're going to talk about very briefly, because we could talk about this quite a lot, there's a lot going on, is the reason why you choose to grab the weapon. And this is a really good example of decision making. So in other videos in the past, I've talked about how fighting is, you can't be strategic once you're in distance. Once you're in measure, you are into the reactive stage of your fight, okay? And what gives you your options is practice, okay? Recognizing positions, recognizing angles, drilling things a lot. This is a really good example because the question is often asked, why would I at that point decide to grab my opponent's weapon? Why wouldn't I do another play? There's lots of answers for that, but the critical one is positioning, okay? My mind recognizes a familiar position, and because of training, I know the success rate of this outcome, and so on and so forth. Let's look at the play real quick first. Ivan's cutting into me, so ideally I want him to take the step. I can start high, I can start low, I just need to make a cover. We've talked about this a lot in other videos, okay? So if I'm coming from low, doesn't matter, as long as I've made the crossing and it's around sort of middle of my sword to the middle of his, okay? If I'm further away, there's different plays for that. So we've met mezza to mezza, middle to middle, okay? Now this is also the same setup as the third play into the fourth, okay? So the question is often asked, why would I at this point decide to do this play and not those plays, those earlier plays, which is some form of cut my opponent, some sort of offline thrust. We don't need to worry about those too much today. But what is it about this position in the heat of the moment that says I can just grab that weapon? I like to use this as an example. So if we find a crossing, I'll try and make it so that his point is high, okay? So we want to cheat a little bit. So we find a crossing, and I found it so his point is high. This, for me, based on practice, is a familiar position that I've drilled lots and lots and lots. I know from here that to reach out and grab that, one, it's quite a long way to go. Two, by the time I've grabbed it, I've got a straight arm, which I never ever want, because if he pulls that back, I've got no give in that arm, okay? Which is a risk to my hands, okay? So with the points high, I have to access other plays, okay? Which now can involve me stepping in with my right foot and so on and so forth, or the earlier plays, which is cutting down, finding a thrust, okay? What I'm trying to say is, with the point high, that play is not really an option. It's not a good practical option. If we do the same mezza to mezza cover, but we're a bit further away, you'll notice something. So I'm up now. We're still mezza to mezza, but his point is forward, okay? What's driven that is where I found the cover, where I found the bind, all right? So here, not really an option, too far to go, risk with a straight arm. Here though, I can keep my arm bent, the weapon is right in front of me to grab, and it's quick, okay? So that is a visual trigger, it's a visual stimulating visually. I know that, I've practiced it, it's accessible because I've drilled it to death. From here, we've got lots of different plays and options. Remember, if I'm grabbing that weapon, it's, you know, I'm only really making space, okay? I'm only grabbing it to give me the opening to hit him back. So just to recap, if I'm making it deep and the points are high, okay, it's not really an option, not really, okay? There's much better options from here. If I'm still finding the mezza but I'm a bit further away, it's a perfect option because it's right in front of my face, okay? I like to use that, as I say, as an example of triggers, okay? All of this system is designed to be familiar positions, practice positions, and everything is triggers because you don't have time to think about it, okay? I don't have time, in the heat of the moment, when he's trying to actually properly kill me, to go here and go, oh, hold on a minute, let me just think about the play I should be doing, okay? It should be instinctive. And this same basic principle of when do I grab versus when do I do other stuff, this same principle basically applies itself up and down and across the system, okay? So every play option that I have from there is accessible because of our positioning, because of my recognition of that position, and because of practice. So that's just a really good way of explaining that. I like this play for that reason. So that's that. Thanks for watching, and until the next one.